Hello everyone and welcome to the Talks a Lot Boys. I of course am your host. My name is Tyler and today I am joined by the boys. We've got Brennan.
What's going on, folks?
And we've got everybody's mustache-clad jazz child, Kyle Steinle.
I love that. I didn't know where it was going, but it was great. Hi everybody. I'm Jazz Child over here.
So, as you've noticed by the title of this video, this is a continuation of our Dance Gavin Dance album review series, and today we are tackling our first Kurt Travis era DGD album. This is uncharted territory for us. We've been going reverse chronological order. This is the first time we have touched Kurt Travis at all. So this is going to be, I feel like, a slightly different experience for all of us than these reviews typically are. Because I don't know about you guys. I barely listened to the Kurt Travis era of DGD with like a couple exceptions. So there's like a few songs off this album, a few songs off of Death Star that I listened to, and that's really it. So for me, re-listening to this album was kind of like a brand new experience because I forgot about like half the album. But yeah, I guess before we get into the rankings and shit, do you guys just want to kind of throw out your overall thoughts on this album? The album's
Brennan,
Happiness. I don't know if I said that out loud. The album's Happiness.
The album is Happiness.
Brennan, bless us with your happy little voice when you talk about happiness. Let me know what you think.
I will. I think this album is a true stepping stone into what this band was able to accomplish in the Tillian era, and of course Johnny Craig's DBM 2 directly after this. They kind of transitioned from a kind of emo sound from DBM 1 to a little bit more of like a happy-go-lucky kind of sound with Death Star, and of course that continues on here. Kurt Travis, he's probably my least favorite of the three DGD vocalists. I mean, I feel like Johnny Craig is like, he had, like, back in the day, he definitely had like a very unique voice, and I feel like that kind of led to DGD having a little more success. And Kurt Travis, I mean, obviously the dude sounds incredible, like World Coda, a couple of his other projects, he sounds incredible. But I mean, it's good. He definitely does good. I also think that Will Swan does a fantastic job, kind of like evolving and adapting to like his current vocalist at the time. So solid album. Not one of my favorites. I think in the DGD hierarchy, this one's like mid to lower, but I mean, still not a bad record. I still like it. So yeah. Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah,
I actually really liked what you said about the way Will Swan like kind of works to the vocalist, because I actually have a lot of notes this time around about like what he did to kind of match the style that Kurt Travis brings. I would say like there are things about Johnny Craig and Kurt Travis that I don't like. There are also parts about their voices that I like. So I really don't know who I'd say is my least favorite. I think there are songs by Johnny Craig that hit me a little bit harder in general, like as a full package. So I probably lean to Kurt Travis being bottom like you, but it's close for me. How I do differ from you, though, is that I really like this album. It's always been one of my preferred, like, go back to and listen to songs from not of the Tillian era. Like we've said a bunch of times, I'm very much a Tillian era boy. That's where I came into it, so that's where I live mainly. But this album has a lot of really, really solid bangers, and I'm really pumped to talk about them. Hoo boy!
Yeah. I echo pretty much all of that stuff. Mainly what Brennan said. You know, Kurt Travis is my least favorite, but he's still good. It's like not my favorite album, but it's still a good album. You know. So we'll just get right into it. We're gonna rank all these songs from worst to first, as we do here on the show. So first off, let's just list off what we have to work with in the order that they appear.
Yeah.
So first up, we got Tree Village, followed by NASA, followed by I'm Down with Browntown, followed by Carl Barker, followed by Happiness, followed by Self-Trepanation, followed by the OG Strawberry Swisher Part 1, and then Don't Tell Dave immediately before Strawberry Swisher Part 2. And then the album is topped off with Powder to the People. Now, boys, I'm going to hit you with the question that I always hit you with at the beginning of these episodes. What goes last?
Oh, man. Well, I have an idea.
All right, hit me with it.
Self-trepanation. I like the kind of like rock synthwave kind of beginning. Like, I mean, obviously it's not synth, but like Will Swan has a really interesting way of like using effects like with his guitars, and like the beginning of it is like cool, and then I can't say like right after like the intro part, there is a part where Kurt Travis has like a singing part, and it's kind of like a basic song, but then like I don't want to say it's like the chorus, but like the main part of the song where it's like him just kind of having like a rolling kind of vocal delivery. Like I'm not a fan of it like at all. Like,
Okay.
So, and I feel like the intro and like that part take away from the song so much for me, and like pretty much no other part in the album has anything like that. Like the rest of the album's either like okay or like good.
Yeah.
So for me, my decision's simple. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely was thinking this song was gonna be toward the bottom too. Mainly because like I think the synth shit at the beginning goes on for like a little too long. It just doesn't really need to. My main thing with this song is just that like when the song finished, I felt nothing. Like it really felt like an attempt at the DGD formula, but it like missed. Like they tried doing all these crazy things. They tried doing a lot of like different switch ups to try to like make the song like a big, DGD experience. But I think it just didn't work this time. It just sort of felt like they took all these different elements and just kind of sewed it together. But there was no real like cohesion. It was just kind of like a jumble of different things, and then it ended, and I was just kind of like, oh, that was different, and I didn't really, I felt nothing. So
yeah, I mean, I was thinking that this was going to go near the bottom. Didn't know if it was going to be bottom, but like the more we talk about it, I'm kind of leaning that way too. Brennan, actually, like I 100% mirror your feeling about the weird, like kind of like wavy, like building and the swelling of the voice there. I will say that the change up instrumentally, like halfway through that part, where it kind of becomes way more fast paced instrumentally while he keeps singing like that same swelly style, I think is really cool. And I think the song in general instrumentally is very unique to a lot of other things on the album.
Sure.
But I think that the weird, like super reverby sound of this song just feels kind of out of place on the whole album. And kind of like what you were saying, Tyler, where like I just don't feel anything at the end of it. It honestly, like when it ended, I was like, that kind of felt like it's not like, I don't think it's the shortest song on the album. I don't think it is.
I don't
it's
remember.
Not super.
It is the third shortest.
Okay.
There's one is 314, 307, and 301. So
gotcha.
I mean, like it felt like there was so like little variation, like especially lyrically, I think in this song that it didn't feel very long. It felt like a little speed bump, not necessarily bad.
Yeah.
It just it felt odd. I think it was like a fun little trip out of like their realm, but one that I'm happy is over. No, yeah. I feel like it's harsh, but like it's because it's not a bad song. It's just very odd.
Yeah.
I wrote the word trippy in my notes because like in general, it just feels like it's loose. Like it kind of morphs around and stuff. But like in this song and a lot of other places on this album, and something I've said over and over again about DGD is that the change ups in the song are phenomenal. Like every time that like the instrumentals do change, they are just sharp as fuck. The transition is very clever. And even if like everything else is very kind of loose, that moment that they do transition into a different like mood, it is just boom. And it's awesome. So, I mean, there are parts about the song I do like, but in general, I think it just leaves me feeling a little odd. So I kind of lean the same way.
I also dislike that the last like 30 seconds of the song is just kind of like winding down.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, like you gave me one part that was trippy, but I didn't like. You gave me like a middle part that I thought sounded pretty good. And then you gave me like just like a long drawn out kind of like rolling, like fluctuation kind of part, and then okay, the song's just gonna drift off, and it's like, okay, so it's like legit like 3/4 of the song I like don't get anything from.
Right. So I think it's safe to say we're just gonna lock this in to the bottom spot.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Like we've trashed on it enough. We're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Any suggestions for what's gonna come immediately after that?
Oh boy.
Any ideas at all?
See, this album's tough because there's only 10 songs on it.
Yeah, it
So,
is.
like,
It is short. So
It immediately feels like I'm struggling to pick. Like,
do we want to immediately go into a round of tabling?
no, I don't think so. I don't think we need to do that yet.
That might be called for soon, but I don't know right now.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because I do have one that I'm kind of leaning towards.
Okay.
And because this is an album we don't usually listen to together when we hang out, I actually don't know a lot of your guys' opinions on some of these songs. So I'm curious to know if this is controversial. But Don't Tell Dave doesn't strike me in any fancy way.
That's like one of my favorite songs on the
Is
album.
it really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I figured. And like, just hear me out for a second, right? Because I think that it's another song that's extremely unique. Not in the same way as Self-Trepanation, but it's very fun. Lots of like just chanting and just like a lot of stuff going on all at the same time that really it works together. Mm-hmm. But I think that there's a lot of like little things that are happening, but nothing like we talk about the roller coaster a lot in a lot of these DGD songs. And I think the song is very like, boom, a cool thing. Boom, a cool thing. There's no like full structure to this song. It's very little moments that are happening that are cool, and then it's over.
I can understand that for sure. I think the reason I like it, like in my notes, I specifically put like the song just sounds good. Like it's catchy, it's funky. Mm-hmm. Like it's a song that like I just want to listen to. So even though it's not like necessarily, like you said, like it's not the most complex thing they've ever done, even as far as the songs of this album goes, it is definitely not the most complex thing. But I think that just the fact that it's like so listenable and so like just tasty, like I think that add like gives something to it, right? Like I definitely think like if we don't want to rank it like super high based on like the fact it's not incredibly technical, I could totally understand that. I don't necessarily want to put it like this low on the list though.
Okay.
Because I just think that like the fact that like I know this is like a personal taste thing, but like this song is one of the ones that like I don't even remember hearing until I did my review today, because I don't listen to this album ever, and I came across that one. I was just vibing to it the whole time. I went back and like re-listened to it like a few extra times today just because like it just sounds really good. And like, yeah, I know it's not the most complex thing ever, but it's a tasty song.
That's fair. I mean, I definitely feel that. I will say just something about the way I feel about this album in general, which you'll notice really fast, is I spent more time with the first half of this album than the second half. I think there are absolute god tier songs in the first half of this album, and there are good ones near the end too. Like, don't get me wrong, but I just re-listened to like the first 5 a lot, and then I moved on to the rest. So I have more notes for them, because I'm leaning towards them more just because I kept on finding things and just pulling things out of them. So I'm in general going to feel that way about some of these. Like from Self-Trepanation on, I didn't listen to as much as everything before it.
Yeah.
Just so you understand my thinking, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair. For me, I thought like the beginning was like really good, and like the second half was really good, with the exception of like Happiness and Self-Trepanation. I thought were kind of like the low point of the album for me. Like, I thought it was, like, good first half. All right, well, this is okay. And then, like, good second half. And, like, I guess now that I'm saying that, I'm kind of thinking that, like, maybe Happiness should be in the conversation for, like, a lower spot. Not that it's a bad song. There was a lot that I liked about it. Like, I have a lot of notes. But, like, also, in the grand scheme of things, as far as this album goes, I think there's only like a few factors that it really has like going for it over other songs. Like, I just don't really know if I could see it being in like I definitely can't see it being in the top half. Just because like, I don't know, it has its merits, but there's just better songs.
I feel like so we have Don't Tell Dave and Happiness
that we're chatting about. Yeah, I'll just say before you bring this up, just quick note: "Happiness" is one of my favorite songs on the album.
Oh wow, okay.
So this is interesting.
I can respect that.
It's one of the ones that surprised me a lot on re-listens a lot, but I'll get into that later. Brennan, what do you think of like the two kind of comparatively?
I definitely think Don't Tell Dave is better.
Yes.
I feel like Happiness, and there's actually another song I kind of want to bring up, but I'll talk about Happiness first. Happiness is just kind of like, I don't know, for me it doesn't really like go anywhere. It's just like, you know, I mean it's a good song, but it's like the same song. Like,
yeah, it does feel very one note compared to a lot of the other stuff on this album. I think that's why I have it in this.
I don't want to diss it. I mean, I like the song. It's just like a lot of other songs. Like, we always talk about DGD's like transitions or like just difference, like how they can just change things up. And like, I don't know, like Happiness for me, it just kind of like the ending's kind of different, but like literally like the entirety of the song up to that point was the same thing and like very little variation. Another song that kind of sounds like that for me is Strawberry Swisher Part 1.
I can get with that. I can get with that a lot, actually. I have.
Honestly, I can get behind that because like the song basically just repeats after the halfway point.
Yeah.
It literally just like spits the same thing out like twice, and I think that is definitely a detriment. I do really like that song though.
Yeah,
I think the part that it repeats, like it is just it's really well done. I really loved it. It's got like the swing beat, and that's like so unique. And just, oh my god, I was really
for me, like DGD, like they always do like a soft reset. Like I always think of like, you know, Turn the Lights, I'm watching Back to the Future Part 2, like that song literally like starts over, but then it's like different. Like they throw like a little like hint of flair in there, you know, a little bit. Like they have a lot of songs that do that. It's just I feel like Strawberry Swisher Part 1 is probably one of the songs that like doesn't pull it off so well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a bad, like, I don't think any of these songs, well, I think one song on this album is bad, but like everything else for me is pretty tasty. So I think Happiness and Strawberry Swisher Part 1 are probably really the two we should be talking about that go next. And then I think Don't Tell Dave is maybe like the next or the one after that.
I can get behind that.
I want to see what you
definitely
guys
think. As much as I really like Strawberry Swisher Part 1, like I really like it. I don't know. Cuz like you're right. Like the fact that it just does a hard reset is detrimental. Kyle, you look like you want to say something.
Kyle,
I'm going to let you talk for a minute.
No, I can actually see you during these, so
I really like Happiness.
Oh jeez.
Why do you really like Happiness, Kyle? Tell us why we're wrong.
My face has just been like this way because I've been thinking about what to say about it. Because I think this song is really interesting, and it's another. I think this kind of like how we were saying, we're like you mentioned that Self-Trepidation and this song are kind of your low point. I think this is where the album gets extremely experimental. I think everything before Happiness is a little bit more in the wheelhouse of DGD sound in general, or like what we've come to get very used to. And then they start doing some experimental shit, and they start that off with Happiness, and it's very vocally centered. I'd go as far to say as it's one of the best vocal songs on the album, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of really awesome, just strained, like hanging notes. And I mean, like the song in general is very ominous, very haunting, and like him kind of like questioning himself a lot. And a lot of the times that's shown through like a lot of his vocals, especially in the lead ups into the choruses. Will like the actual vocals will hang off as the next line starts. So like it's almost like it's like a nice like play on the lyrics to give you the idea of like his mind's kind of like rushing through all these thoughts and like constantly repeats like, why do I bother praying and stuff like that. And those notes are phenomenal too, because like when they like get layered in the chorus, they absolutely soar. Probably my favorite note he sings in the whole album. Like there are parts where his voice is very iconic at times, and a lot of those really iconic choruses that we're going to talk about a lot later. But I think that in this chorus, his vocals just really just like layer on top of each other so well. He does a lot of layering in this whole album with his vocals that I think sound awesome and kind of add to that roller coaster thing where it builds over time. The more they layer as they go, it's awesome. But in this one, it's almost like they layer it to add tension. And as the song goes on, his voice is even like you can feel that tension, and it hurts almost at times because like he's struggling to make decisions, and you feel it. And I was like, ooh, and then it like in the bridge, I think it's the bridge if I'm not mistaken. There, he's overlaid by ooze, like falsetto ooze, like super high, where he's just letting them ring out, and it's haunting, and it's like chilling, and it's so cool. Fucking love it. And I just think that overall the song is like extremely experimental for them, and I understand why you think that it's low, but I think that it's another testament, and there's other songs that I think it does even more, but Will Swan really works with the vocals of this song to create something that is such a great full piece of music. Like he purposely will play into the whininess of the ends of Kurt Travis's phrases with the guitar kind of fading off, and like just plays off each other in such a like, it's all over my notes, this haunting vibe of this song that I love so much. It's very not iconic DGD in any way, and that's why I get that you want it to be lower, but it's so well thought out, and I love it. I understand I'm already outvoted, but I'm just gonna say it. I love this
you're
song.
making a good argument.
Some of my notes.
You're bringing up a lot of good points. Doesn't make me want to put it any higher.
Oh, I know. I'm ready to cry anyways.
I definitely get where you're coming from. Like the things that you were pointing out, like you're pointing out a lot more in-depth stuff than what I noticed. Me and my feeble plebeian non-music major mind, but like like the stuff about like the vocals and stuff like that really stood out to me too. I think there's better songs.
Yeah.
Person. So we have to keep moving along. So we gotta make a decision now of the songs that we have discussed. Unless there is one that we're missing, I'm gonna vote Happiness Goes in the number 9 spot.
I'm gonna vote Strawberry Swisher Part 1 goes number 9. And I think that Happiness should be right after number 8.
I want to create chaos and say, don't tell Dave, but I won't. And have that situation again. But I think that especially, it's interesting comparing this song with Strawberry Swisher Part 1 because we were talking about how it almost repeats. I do think that roller coaster effect is really strong though, because the way it's almost like two really big drops on a roller coaster. And it's probably my least favorite of the Strawberry parts of any of them, looking at them all or thinking about them all anyways. But I think that it's really fun, very weird, the Mickey Mouse sheets and everything. I think it's, and I think there's a lot of really cool layering moments in it. But I think that it feels like the song could have been one thing, and instead it's just like one, and then they copied and folded it over, and it became silly. And that's just kind of annoying to me in a way. So I'm leaning towards that being next.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because other DGD work, they have done like soft resets, but then they gave you like so much beforehand. And then they give you like the reset, but then like they add so much more to it.
Right.
Like I keep thinking of like Turn Off the Lights and watch the Back to the Future Part 2, because that song literally starts over. But like,
and then it's a totally different experience.
After like a section, like a couple bars, it's like boom, like we're somewhere else now. And it's like, man, like that would be so cool. Like it is really cool. That's why that song's so high on our ranking. So
yeah, no, I can definitely get behind Strawberry Swisher being number 9.
It's just it's just like too soft for me.
Yeah,
like, DGD is like so much more capable.
It is that does bother me too, that like the song just repeats, and they're better than that. So yeah. we'll lock that in at number 9. Number 8, I know Happiness is up. I'm gonna add to the chaos real quick. I'm gonna say something that you guys might not like, and this might immediately just get ousted.
Let's band together.
I need to make my opinions known.
Well, I mean, like,
just so that they're out here.
Okay, all right.
Let's see what you got.
Powder to the People does nothing for me.
Ooh,
it's not at all what I expected. It's a very interesting take.
I don't care about that song. Like, I have like the least notes for that song out of everything. Like, to me, it's just like I'm waiting for the album to end, and it's like, here's another thing that kind of sounds like everything you've already heard, and I'm like, all right, well, like there's good stuff in it, I guess.
I see the hands raised.
I don't know. I think it has the worst Will Swan vocal feature ever.
I think it's the most forgettable, at least.
Yeah,
I don't like not like it, but it's the one I never think about him. Like, literally re-listening to it, I was like, oh, that's right, he's in this. Like, I forgot. It also just doesn't feel like an album ender to me.
No, it doesn't feel like an album ender either. Like, it literally, to me, it just feels like they got to Strawberry Swisher Part 2, and then they were like, well, this is only 9 songs long. Let's just write something real quick to have a 10th song. And I know, like, that's being really harsh on it. I'm aware, but, like, I don't know, man. I have, like, no notes. Like, I don't care about this song at all. And, like, if you guys like it a lot, that's fine. I just need to, like, I just wanted to put that out there so that everyone just knows my stance. Like, of all the songs on this album, like, the one I am coming back to the least, other than Self-Trepanation, is Powder to the People, because I just don't care. I feel nothing. I don't care. It's like the same boat as Self-Trepanation, for me, honestly.
Damn, all right.
Brennan, I really need you to sell me on this, because I'm not in the mindset to put it next, but it is also one I don't have a lot of notes for, and I don't feel super strongly about it. So there's a world where I could see it next.
Mm-hmm.
But Brennan, I want you to
see
talk
it
to me
as
about
next. I mean, like, the guitar work I absolutely love. It's nothing like, we're not talking like intricate riffs like Suspended in This Disaster or Deception or anything like that, where it's just Will Swan going off. But, like, even in its simplicity, like, to me, it just sounds incredible. Like, it's just like I talk about how Will Swan's always like complimenting his vocalist. Well, like, this is like perfectly encapsulating that, because it's like, it's almost like a dance beat kind of song, and just like the energy it brings, and like, I don't know, I couldn't be that harsh to it. It does have a forgettable Will Swan verse, I will say that. So I mean, this one is definitely not number 1, but I mean, I couldn't put it next.
I'm gonna pull some maniacal shit right now.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna say, I want the next 2 songs to be Powder to the People, followed by Happiness. I'm gonna try to bring Kyle in. Kyle, we can get Happiness up one more spot.
See, that's
you join me.
I am
you're
in
kind of
the people underneath.
You're kind of like,
you're fucking like bribing the poor guy. Like,
yeah, you're literally like blackmailing me at this point, and I kind of love it.
I'm speaking my truth, and I know that you can get behind it because I know you agree with me.
So, Powder to the People. I've already said some negative things about it. And I don't have a lot more notes after that. But I do think, like, in general, in this song, and any song that I don't super like on this album, I tend to really like the instrumentals in. Like, Self-Trepanation, I think the instrumentals are really strong. Not the strongest in the album in any sense, but, like, noticeably good. Maybe it's because the rest of it, I think, kind of lacks, and then that just shines a little more. But like I said, there's a lot of experimental stuff that happens after Happiness and moving forward in this album. And I think in this song, the glaring experimental thing is that really high-pitched guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of hate it.
Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of it either.
It's not that it's bad. It's just like,
this battle's lost.
And we don't, like, it's...
I literally, like, in my notes, I literally put interesting start to the song. It's a really weird guitar lick.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know if that's a positive thing or a negative thing, but it's like, I didn't write good. So, I mean, I guess that's something.
Yeah. I think that...
Oh, man.
the change-ups in this song are really solid. And all of the guitar work I have like in my notes snappy and strong. Like it is very like just super like punchy, almost like a dance beat. I kind of like how you described it, Brennan.
Yeah, I had that
where like it almost feels like, because it is quite repetitive. But if it wasn't for that high pitchedness, I think I'd like it more. The fact that is what keeps repeating is that really like I'm just like, whoo. Because like it doesn't sound bad, but it's not something that I'm like, oh, dope, here it comes. This is the thing that I'm like, Albender boy, hit me with that fucking Smurf ass voice. Here we go. Like I'm not here for it as much.
Oh man.
And that's what's really tough about this
like
song.
The one part where like the double bass takes over and like it's not high pitched guitar, like that shit hits for me. But like
it does, and you're not wrong.
I don't know. See, like for me, I really like the high pitched part.
The whole song, though.
Yeah, I mean I totally get all your guys' points. So, I mean, hey, that's good. As long as you go off one, it is what it is, you know.
I think that the last like 40 seconds of this song are incredible.
Yeah.
Where he kind of goes from like that really high pitched guitar that like just kind of is consistent, and he starts coming down with it, and then like kind of doing runs with it, and then he kind of tips back up into it and comes back down throughout the rest of it until it just kind of hangs. There's a lot of songs on this album that just hang at the end. There's no very abrupt ends, which is odd because DBM2 has a lot of just and then it ends. Whereas this song is just like very like just letting it all hang out there. In good ways and in bad ways. And I think the song it is very good when that happens. But Tyler, you mentioned that you didn't write good. I put unique.
Oh boy. Yeah, this isn't going well for me.
Yeah, I think Powder to the People is gonna be 8.
I have something pretty maniacal though, as well.
Ooh.
I like it more than Don't Tell Dave.
I hate it. I know.
I like Powder to the People more than I like Don't Tell Dave. I think the guitar work, and another thing about Powder to the People that actually I just like completely skipped over the very first note that I had is there's a lot of droning vocals where like it's like two Kurt Travis's voice is like kind of layered very close to each other at lower, and it kind of just like is like this lower register for him that just kind of hangs, and then against that high note pitch is a cool contrast back and forth, and it's a really cool way that like again Will Swan writes to the vocalist. I love that about the song too. I wish it sounded better, but it was a really cool idea and well executed, even though it doesn't sound good. But I think the high points in Powder to the People are stronger than the high points in Don't Tell Dave to me.
Hard disagree with you on that one. But
I think there's a lot of intricate stuff happening in Powder to the People, and then there's a lot of little bits happening in Don't Tell Dave that I think Powder to the People wins. Okay,
here, we'll make everyone unhappy. We could put Happiness next, and then we could put Powder to the People, and then we could put Don't Tell Dave.
That's actually exactly what I want. So
wait, what?
Then if that's how I get Don't Tell Dave on top.
Well, actually, no. I want never mind. I want Don't Tell Dave and Powder to the People flipped, but Happiness, I want that where it's at.
Okay.
Well, I guess we're
whatever.
all in completely different areas. Okay.
So never mind. I lied. It's not exactly what I want.
If this is what the next 3 songs are going to be, and they kind of have to be for the sake of time at this point.
Yeah.
We need to do.
Okay. Yeah, we gotta do
the thing that killed us in the Pink Elephant review.
Yes.
Okay.
We need to each list off our order. So, I'm going to start.
Okay.
I want it to be Powder to the People, number 8. Happiness, number 7. Don't Tell Dave, number 6.
Okay. I have something completely different.
Good. Great.
Good.
I want Don't Tell Dave next, then Powder to the People, and then Happiness.
All right. I want Happiness at 8. Don't Tell Dave at 7, and Powder to the People at 6.
Yeah, we're back here again, aren't we?
Because Powder to the People for me is like a top 4 song, but that's just me. So I obviously can't bring that to here.
Kyle, we could have taken this and we could have locked it in, and then you bring Don't Tell Dave back in, and then we cause the fucking
chaos,
the return of the circle jerk, the unescapable pit of
I'm gonna
sorrow.
fix it. I'm gonna fix it right now. Okay. I'm giving up my ground on happiness. I'm okay with it being next. Yes. I'm okay with it being next because I personally love the song, but I understand that of the three, it is the least like DGD feel of any of them. I think intricately and like thought process and some of the really fun little like ways they personify the ideas of the song are really cool. But I think that in general, Don't Tell Dave and Power to the People are more iconically DGD, as well as like a little bit more fun and more upbeat. So I could see why objectively they would be above it. So I'm willing to go with Brennan's ranking of happiness next, then Don't Tell Dave, then Powder to the People.
All right.
Yeah.
Just let it be known, internet. Don't tell Dave.
Let it be known that I like happiness.
I'm a little
definitely
sad,
like Don't Tell Dave and like Part of the People are definitely like party songs for me. But
yeah, they really are. They're probably the most party songs of any of them on the album.
Yeah. I was hoping Powder to the People was gonna be bottom 2, but you know.
No. I refuse. I cannot. But if I was outvoted, then it is what it is.
Okay.
But,
yeah.
So why don't you do a recap then? Because this gets a little weird now.
Yeah. So number 10, Self Trepanation. Number 9, Strawberry Swisher Part 1. Number 8, Happiness. Number 7, Don't Tell Dave. Number 6, Powder to the People.
And the final 5 now.
Yeah, now we're into the final 5, which is
we're halfway
Tree Village,
through, guys.
NASA, I'm Down with Browntown, Carl Barker, Strawberry Swisher Part 2.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
Solid lineup.
Battle. I'll tell you what's not next.
Okay. I was about to say table.
Let's have a round of tables.
I like
I
it.
think now's the time.
Carl Barker, hardest table ever.
Yeah.
Carl Barker.
Yeah, totally agree.
That would have been my pick as well.
Oh, cool. Glad we're all on the same page for that then, at least.
Well, that and one other one were my table options. So, Brennan, you go ahead.
Man. I'm going to go NASA.
Okay, that was my other pick. So I'm happy we're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 most come back to songs, but we'll get to that later. Then my table, process of elimination for me, is I'm Down with Browntown.
All right.
Okay.
So that leaves us between Tree Village and Strawberry Swisher Part 2.
I'm okay with this.
They are 2 of the least notes for songs that I have on the album, even though I really enjoy them. I think it was for me, because sometimes low notes means I didn't like them as much, but for these, they're songs that I enjoy, but I just sit and absorb it, and I go, yes. And I take a couple notes, and I go, that was fun. We're moving on. It's a good time, even though I don't have to get, really into them. The other 3 songs, the 3 that we tabled, I have a butt ton of notes for. So, those are, it's good, and there's a lot of notes. So, but what do you guys think about between Tree Village?
I'm gravitating, if the next 2 are going to be Tree Village and Strawberry Swisher Part 2, I think Tree Village has to be above Strawberry Swisher Part 2. In my opinion.
Okay.
I think that Strawberry Swisher Part 2 is really good. I really enjoyed that song for sure. I think that specifically the guitar really stands out to me in this song, and the gang chants are really fun also. You can't go wrong with that. I think it's just Strawberry Swisher Part 2 really kind of lets Kurt Travis and Matt Mingus and Will Swan just really shine. But there's no John Mess. Unless I missed it.
No, he's just not in this at all, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't think he's in it at all. It's not necessarily a bad thing. There's a few songs on the album he's not in. I just had that as a note. Tree Village, though, I think I've always kind of liked this song. I think it's a really, really strong start to the album. It's got fun riffs. It's got insane drums, lots of switch ups that are just keeping things interesting the whole time. Standard DGD vibes there. I and then around the middle, or not the middle, but like I think it's like around like 130, 140 maybe. It like strips things down, and it just sounds like so good, and then it builds back up to like the original energy of it. And we all know how I love building, and so I'm gonna have that in my notes. I really think that Tree Village brings a lot more to the table. I think it's a stronger song. I like Strawberry Swisher, but I just think that it's outclassed by Tree Village, in my opinion. Thoughts?
I totally get that. I think the only real negative of Tree Village is that it is a bit of like a sad boy anthem. However, like,
yeah,
it's a very tasty one. Like, I really enjoy it. I really like, there's like a depth to it. Like when Tyler says whenever it like breaks down, he's talking about how like, you know what, February's been really cold and like, you know, I'm without you and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just such a well executed song. And like I kind of get like, it kind of builds like the atmosphere, like I said, of sadness, kind of like the way that like Acceptance Speech builded the atmosphere of like uncertainty and like lack of self-confidence. And like Tree Village, like Tyler said, like it starts off like kind of slow and then like it picks up, then like you hit the chorus and then like it strips down to like the part where Kurt Travis is just singing, and then like John Mess, who, like I said before, like up until Acceptance Speech, every album he sounds completely different. Like this album, he has more of like a mid-tone, kind of like lower end scream compared to like nowadays he's like a higher pitch, like almost like a Fry Guy. But like, I don't know, like everything, it's just such like a good like complimentary song. Like everything's like bouncing off of each other, and like even with the end where it's just like screaming and like guitar work and stuff, like I still really dig it. Strawberry Switcher Part 2, to me it's like a better Strawberry Swisher Part 1. Like there's a lot more activity, there's a lot more like DGD-ness to the song, and it's strong, and I think that it is very fair to put it at number 5. So for me, I mean, I just think there's 4 songs I'm looking at right now that are above it. So
yeah.
Kyle, what do you think?
So I did some research about this album because, like I said, I wasn't a fan during the time. Apparently John Mess is not on this album at all.
Well, I heard he recorded it.
He left the band during this time. And a lot of the unclean vocals, according to the internet, are Will Swan.
I thought that was only when they performed it live.
No, that's
I thought they recorded it. Yeah,
John Mess recorded
John Mess,
he recorded it, and then he left like right after they got them recording it. Like by the time it was released, he wasn't with the band.
Yeah, because I know when they were like touring and stuff, Will Swan had to do the unclean vocals.
Okay.
Yeah, like the Tree City Village video, he did all of them.
Okay. Because I wasn't super sure. I'm glad you guys cleared it up, because like there's a lot of different people asking on the internet like why, and then, like on Wikipedia, John Mess isn't credited like at all. So
that's
like
weird.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But because like he was dealing with stuff, and I think he kept doing his education. I guess he went back to school or something.
Oh.
I don't know. But in general, I think the unclean vocals on this album are good. On that note, but between these two songs, I think that I share a lot of the same opinions with you guys on Strawberry Swisher Part 2. I think it's a good step up from the first part. I think there's a lot more fun that is had in the song. I think there's a lot more just in general complex ideas that happen instrumentally throughout it, and I like it more than Part 1. But I still think it has a lot of room to grow before it becomes like an iconic thing. Like, you know, like every Strawberry Swisher part after this is just like, and like this is the beginning of that, and I appreciate that, but it's not there yet. Whereas Tree Village, I think, is just a phenomenal album opener. I think it kind of sets the tone for this album really well. Because we talk a lot about the first song setting the tone and the last song wrapping everything up in a good way. And while the last song on this album I don't think is a good wrap-up, the first song is an incredible way to set that kind of sad boy tone that this whole album has. And I think Kurt Travis's voice kind of leans into that a little bit with like his like I was mentioning before, like he kind of trails off a little bit. He's very unclean singing throughout this whole thing, and not in a bad way, just stylistically. He lets himself trail off, and there's no like after the fact snipping of any of that little extra stuff that he'll add in, because that's just his style. And that's fine. I think that's something that at times is really cool and worked with, like in Happiness, and at times is the reason why I lean towards Johnny Craig a little bit more just in that battle, because sometimes I think it works, sometimes it doesn't. But in Tree Village, I think it really does work. I think in general, I think the vocals in it are, because like for me, going in reverse chronological order, as we go back, I've listened to them less, except for DBM2 and this one. And this was the first time I personally heard Kurt Travis within the band, and I think that first song really set this kind of like, oh, I understand where like today Tilly and DGD got some of their elements from, and it's the way that Kurt Travis sings, and that first song Tree Village is like where that all started for me. So in general, it's semi like a personal thing, but I think it is also like objectively a very really good album opener, sets the tone, and I think there's a lot of really great instrumental stuff within it as well. So I'd lean towards Tree Village being above part 2.
Tight. Well, that was easy.
We're all in agreement.
Yeah. We're on to the final 3.
Woo!
NASA, I'm Down with Browntown, and Carl Barker. I think there is a clear-cut winner here.
I'm probably going to be in agreement, but let's hear the arguments.
I think there's a clear-cut loser here, actually.
What do you think the loser is?
Shit.
Of the 3. These are like my 3 favorite songs in the album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Happiness is phenomenal, I like it, but these 3 are the 3 that I've always come back to.
Fuck Happiness.
Don't say the wrong answer here, Kyle.
Fuck you, Brennan. I think that I'm Down with Browntown should be 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah, don't you worry.
Okay.
I love Carl Barker.
Oh yeah, I was like, Carl Barker has to be 1. It has to be. It has to be. It has to be 1.
I'm kind of back and forth between NASA and Carl Barker.
No, it's
but
Carl
we'll
Barker.
talk about that later. I think that I'm Down with Browntown is definitively the 3rd best song.
I can get behind that. We can put I'm Down with Browntown at 3. I totally get behind that.
I mean, I guess to say a quick word about I'm Down with Browntown, you know, it's like a nice little like upbeat kind of like almost like a poppy kind of song. I think Will Swan's guitar parts in it are pretty neat, but I mean, I think number 3 is a very, very strong spot for the song, and
Agreed.
Like the change ups with like, you know, the screaming like after like the first like initial intro, like it's just it's a solid song, but there are 2 songs that are better, I believe.
Yeah, I think like the main standout part of I'm Down with Browntown is just like the layered vocals. I think are just so clean, so nice, sounds so good. But the other 2 songs just outclass it in every area, I think. Like, I think having, like, 1 or 2 really good standout things, like, it is enough to have it at number 3. I can't justify putting it higher than that, though. So I definitely agree. It should be 3rd.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement as well. And I think the thing about this song that I like, it deserves a number 3 spot. It doesn't deserve higher. It doesn't deserve lower. It is distinctly the number 3 part. Is because this is the best example in my mind of Swan and company working together with the stylistic choices of Kurt Travis to create this really awesome piece. Because, I mean, Will Swan's a legend. Every time we talk about this, I'm just like, oh, Will Swan, again, he did it. And it's just it's this again. Because in this one, that beginning part is a little frantic. It's like a lot of guitars are just kind of like running off, and Kurt Travis is running off. And then the moment that Kurt Travis stops and it goes into the John Mess part, all the guitars get plucky and short, and it's like 100% perfectly contrasting the style of Kurt Travis. And it's punchy, short, plucky, like the screaming. And then when it comes back in, and then Kurt Travis joins them while it's still kind of plucky, and then it grows into the chorus, which becomes like a mixture of everything. And it's really well done, and it's really fun to listen to, and I think the vocals in this are really fun to listen to, specifically. I think that it almost feels like he's having more fun with this one than a lot of other songs, except for the 2 above it. But, I don't know, I just really fucking love the song. I think the chanty parts of the chorus, along with the unclean vocals, is a really cool dynamic. And I think they work a lot with that, like, really contrasting dynamic a lot in this song, where you've got the trailing off kind of like loose runs into the loose runs. Wow. Anyway.
Gotta hate it when you get the loose runs.
That is, I said it, I mean, it was like...
That is the worst.
You know, but in this is where I like them loose runs, you know? Oh, man, it sends me right to the bathroom.
I much prefer the tight runs, preferably, but...
That sounds... Well, depends on the day, I guess. But anyways, I think that there's a lot of just really, really smart decision in this song, on top of it being extremely dynamic, on top of it being just great all around, that I love. And I think it absolutely deserves a spot.
Yeah. Cool. It's number 3. Now on to the real fucking battle. Is it gonna be a battle? I don't think it's a battle. I think it is very obviously, very clearly, Carl Barker is the best song on this fucking album. I would go as far as to say Carl Barker is the second best Kurt Travis era song in general.
I thought you were gonna make a really big accusation for a second. Second best. I was like,
that's why you put out number 2, and I'm like, Tyler, fucking pump the brakes. Like, this is not.
A minute.
I don't want to go. I don't want to take this too far, man. Like, there's reason.
No.
Like,
you leading up to saying Kurt Travis era almost gave me the loose runs. I was very nervous.
Did y'all really think that I like Carl Barker more than Uneasy Heart's Way the most?
Of all time. I'll be like, Tyler, like...
You know me well enough to know that I would never, ever claim that.
You were getting real confident, and I was like, how far does this confidence run?
I'm not, no. I'm not a fucking moron.
See, Tyler, I think,
I have questionable opinions sometimes, but I'm not stupid.
I think your maniacal, like things you put up sometimes, like, make me wonder, like, there's a chance.
Yeah.
No, I am still a basic bitch at heart. But as far as this album is concerned, I think Carl Barker is number 1, hands down, no contest. It is an immaculate song. It is perfection. As far as this era of DGD is concerned, it's a 10 out of 10. It's a good ass song right there. It's like probably my most listened to song off of because like obviously I started off in the, and I know we've talked about this like a million times, but I started off in Tillian era DGD 2, worked my way backwards. So my first exposure to this song was when it dropped in Tree City Sessions number 1 when Tillian did it, and I was like, this is a really dope song. And then I went back and listened to the original, and I was like, I kind of prefer the Tillian one, but that's just because I'm biased. But I still like everything that I loved about the Tillian version, I love about this because it's the original. I mean, it's just it's a good song, man. I have so many notes for it. I don't even feel the need to go into them because I think if you at home, if you take the time to listen to this fucking song, if you've already heard it, you already know. And if you haven't heard it, listen to it and you'll know.
I just love the slam.
The
like
best
fucking...
way to understand where I'm coming from, to know the truth of this argument, to see how much of a fucking divide there is between the number 1 spot and everything else on this album, just fucking listen to Carl Barker once and you'll be like, yeah, this is the best song on the album. Fuck. That's it. That's
Tyler, I think that
I've spoken the truth.
In something that I was already pretty much in agreement with, I think you hit the nail right on the head. I love NASA. I love how it literally, like, the ending of the song is literally the name of the next song.
Yeah.
And that next song doesn't even say it, I don't think. So
that always like confused me. Like I always got the songs mixed up because I always thought that one was I'm Down with Brown Town because they say it.
And then, like, but even like them saying that, like, it's such an odd phrase, but like with how like the guitars like step in and it's just like going like back at, oh man, like there's like a wave to it. Like, dude, I mean, it's a really good song, but I'm in agreement. I think Carl Barker is like for me, like Carl Barker and Tree Village were like the 2 songs that like everyone and their mother like knew off of this album.
Right.
And I think that Carl Barker is just like, it's a much more like DGD-esque, like there's just so much going on. The choruses are tasty. Like there's like bridges in it that really like bring out what this band's capable of, like in between parts. Like a lot of other bands, it feels like, okay, they come up with a catchy chorus or they come up with a catchy breakdown, and then the rest of the song is just like a vessel to get you to that point. And I feel like DGD has always been excellent at like, okay, well, we don't want the song to be a vessel. We want the entirety of the song to be like enjoyable with different parts and like transitions and stuff. And like, for me, like Carl Barker is like the epitome of that. Because it's like, I mean, even whenever the song's like stripped down and it's just the guitar, like it's still like, ooh, like where are we going here? And then boom, like John Mess hits you. And then like everything's like picking up, it's like softer. And then like Kurt Travis steps back in. Like, dude, like Carl Barker's at the shit. Like,
yeah, straight up.
Kyle, what do you think? I haven't heard anything from you in a minute.
Yeah, that's all right. These two songs are extremely close in my mind, and I already understand I've been outvoted, because I think I'd lean towards NASA personally. Actually,
always got to be different, Kyle. Always got to be spewing
literally
your weird
in my
opinions.
notes I have this is the best song on the album on NASA, and then Carl Barker, I was like, this is an extremely close second. Because those are like my two favorites on the album. They're absolutely the best songs on the album. Songs like I'm Down with Browntown and Happiness like are impressive to me in their own ways, but they're nowhere near as exciting and fun to listen to as these two songs. Yeah. I'll start with Carl Barker because you guys are talking about it. Even though it's the first one and not the second. It's whatever. The intro is absolutely so fucking tasty. Into Vibra Slap. Fucking Vibra Slap! It's Vibra Slap! That makes it fine with me that it's number one. It's delicious. Every time they put Vibra Slap in a song, it's the best song on the album. No question. I think there's a lot of really cool rhythm change-ups with the fucking unclean vocal parts. I think that it's really, like, just fucking cool all over the place. It's just such a good fucking time. The thing that this song does, Carl Barker does, is in the choruses, earlier we were talking about the swelling in one of the songs. I don't remember what it was. But in this chorus, Will Swan plays arpeggios of the chords. And then on either side of the chorus, he plays like them just super powerfully. It's a really awesome contrast, and it's a way to make that chorus kind of swell and like have a lot of momentum and go. Arpeggio is when you just play each note of the chord up and down instead of playing the full chord. Blam. And it adds a lot of really awesome just momentum. It just naturally makes the song just drive and feel great. And I love it. The parts where there's falsetto backing vocals are phenomenal again. Every time that happens, it's just phenomenal. Because, I mean... And we didn't even... And people at this time didn't even know. They're like, high voice? That sounds neat. I'll never hear that again. And then they get Tillian years later, and it's just all high voice all the time. For fuck's sake, when he did NASA in... Tree City Sessions 2, he had to bring it up 4 steps because he's just like, guys, I can't sing that low. And everyone's like, what the fuck? You're a freak. In the best way. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I just think that this is one of the songs where those backing vocals and the layering of the vocals works so well. It works well every other time. But in this one, it's really powerful. And it just feels so fucking good. And like the last chorus, all the drums kind of like go into halftime. A little bit, like instead of it just being like really punchy and fast, they all kind of like slow down a little bit and hit like the big powerful notes, and it's just this absolutely just another banger way to fucking just push it to the finish line, and I fucking love it. God, Carl Barker's delicious. Dude, but I like NASA more.
Kyle, damn straight.
But I like NASA more. I think it's kind of a personal like nostalgia feeling for me. I think NASA's just always been one that's really iconic to me. NASA just sounds so catchy. And I know Carl Barker does too, but something about just I think there's something about the way that it goes back and forth between Kurt Travis and John Mess in NASA is just so satisfying and very DGD to me in a way that I think Carl Barker isn't as much. I think Carl Barker does really well with it, but NASA, that stands out to me a lot, that back and forth between the two of them. And it's something that's very iconically DGD, where it's like these two contrasting sounds kind of all the time, these change-ups for them. And I mean, the change-ups are phenomenal, and the layered vocals in the song are not phenomenal. And I think the crowd cheering section is really fun. I do think that in this NASA, the crowd cheering section is a more refined, better way to do what Don't Tell Dave does, in my mind. I think there's a lot of like kind of chaotic, like chanty, like excitement going on in Don't Tell Dave, where in NASA it's the same thing but with so much more form and like drive that I love. Ooh, I love.
Yeah.
And something we haven't really talked about a lot is the drums on this album. I think they're extremely forward all the time, and they're a very big sense of the drive in this album. And in NASA, I think it's one of the best times for the drums in the whole album, in my opinion. Oddly enough, Carl Barker and NASA actually have a lot of similar things where both their intros are very unique and fun. The building bits are really cool with the unclean vocals. The drums are great. There's a lot of really cool layered stuff. But I think it's almost like a preference, which one you kind of lean towards more. Obviously, the more popular opinion is Carl Barker. Even in this set of three, it's 2-1. But they're really great in their own ways, but very similarly. And God, they're just the two best songs on this album. It was just no contest at this point. Yeah, I vote NASA, but I know that doesn't win.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah. And we've done it. We've finished. We ranked Happiness.
Woo. We did it.
Good job, guys. Minimal. There was only one part of this entire list that there was a war. I feel like everything else we kind of just agreed on.
Yeah.
Immediately all the way up.
And even then, it still wasn't Stan Atlantic where we were legit angry. It was still a civil.
I don't think we'll ever get to the. We reference this in every episode, but I don't think we're ever going to get to the level of
that was so bad,
aggressive hatred that we got to.
That was so bad. I was fuming. And I get angry on the show a lot because you guys tend to lean a different way than me. But I didn't expect it for that one at all. And I was just you absolute fucking imbeciles. Of course this song's better. What the fuck are you guys It was just, and I was so worried that's where this one was going to.
I feel 90% of these you end up getting angry. They're I feel half the DGD ones you've thrown your phone across the room at certain times.
I'm just happy that Kyle agreed with me with Power to the People.
Yeah. Yeah,
subjectively, I don't, but objectively,
Kyle to make the wrong choice. That's it's fine. It's fine.
That's just the motto of the show.
We gotta wrap this up. So I'm gonna run through the official ranking of Happiness as we have determined it here today on the show. So at number 10, we got Self Trepidation. Number 9, Strawberry Swisher Part 1. Number 8, Happiness. Number 7, Don't Tell Dave. Number 6, Powder to the People. Number 5, Strawberry Swisher Part 2. Number 4, Tree Village. Number 3, I'm Down with Browntown. Number 2, NASA. And number 1, definitively, from the beginning of time until the end of time, it was never in contest. We knew from the beginning that it was always going to be here. Except for Kyle, but he's fine with it. It's Carl Barker.
He's fine with it.
Number 1 song on the album. Number 2 song of Kurt Travis era DGD.
I would suspect that there are people that listen to the show that might lean towards me and think that NASA is better than Carl Barker.
Yes,
and if you are that person, comment.
Of course,
comment
there is
below.
the internet. That's
join me. Join the dark side of the moon. NASA.
We're gonna start. If you agree. We're gonna start a GoFundMe for Kyle's Pride.
Yeah,
and please. That'll be in the comments. If you prefer NASA, please donate.
That's okay though, because my number 2 song is it's under Powder to the People, which is wrong to me. But you know what? It's in stone. It has been written. It is law now. The Talk Thought Boys rankings are truth. It doesn't matter. Even if we don't agree with them, they're the truth because they have been democratically fucking formulated. So this is it. This is the definitive list.
So it has been said, so it shall be done.
In the comments below, if you agree or disagree with this list, let us know what your personal rankings are. We fucking love it when you guys put your personal rankings in the comments below. Legit. Those of you who do it on every episode, we love you. You're our best fans. We love that shit. Yeah. Zoom in on Kyle right now.
Yeah.
Zoom way in on him. Yeah.
Yeah, there's one guy that's put it consistently on every one so far. So please keep that up, and please more people join in.
Yeah, and there's been a few other people that have hopped on the Listen a Lot Lads train recently too, and we're happy to have you. Channel's getting bigger slowly but surely. So maybe we'll hit triple-digit subs soon. That'll be cool. And if you want to help us get to that point. If you want to help us reach the magical number of 420 subs, that's our goal right now. We're on the quest for 420. If you want to help us get there, go down, click that subscribe button. That would just make our fucking weeks. You don't understand how much we want that to happen. We want to get to 420. Whether it takes a day or 6 years, we got to get there. And we're not going to get there without your help. Hashtag bring the boys to 420. Start it up on the socials. I don't use our socials, but whoever, one of you, put it on the socials. Get it going.
You're literally on it, bro. Like, you could be doing it.
I don't even use my own social. That's a personal problem.
Man.
But yeah, if you liked this video, please like it. We really like when you do that too. I just said like a lot. That's fine.
Subliminal messaging.
You know what? While you're at it, while you're subscribing to us, you can go back and check out the rest of our DGD album reviews if you haven't seen them already. You can check out some of our other album reviews we've done, like the infamous Stand Atlantic one, and some of our other shows and random things that we put on the channel. If you like our voices, we have plenty of shit to offer you. So go check all of it out. Follow us on all those social media accounts that I will not be posting on. But someone will be, hopefully. And yeah, my rant is over. That's the end. We have been the Talk Slot Boys, and we're going to talk a whole lot more next time. Peace out.
See you guys.
Huh.